Welcome back again, guys. Welcome back to Team Sagriff's channel. Thanks for joining us again. If you haven't already caught any of our videos, I'm Mrs. Sagriff, and today we are going to do a build a deck video. We're going to walk through the Eeveelution deck that I have built. So basically the whole premise behind this deck is to basically use as many Eeveelutions as possible with a couple of fillers, but mostly my Eevee. So, first thing we're going to do is we'll go through the few energies that we have in here. So, we've got Recycle Energy. This is a special energy card, and what this does is this card provides basic star energy. If this card is discarded from play, put it into your hand instead of the discard pile. So that's like a boomerang energy, pretty handy. Then we've got a double colorless, provides 2 colorless energies. So basically efficient and effective for everybody. Then we've got 2 electric, 2 fire, 2 fairy, 4 dark, 4 psychic, and 4 water. Alright. So we'll go through the Pokemon first. So our first Eevee, this one's one of my favorite Eevees. I've only got one of these, but I love it for its ability. Energy Evolution. When you attach a basic energy card from your hand to this Pokemon during your turn, you may search your deck for a card that evolves from this Pokemon that is the same type as that energy card and put it onto this Pokemon to evolve it. Then shuffle your deck. So that's pretty awesome because with the energies we have here, we can literally choose whatever we want for our Eeveelutions. It makes it pretty handy. So that gets to be taken advantage of quite often. So that's that Eevee. Now we've got our Eeveelutions. We'll set aside the trainers and stuff. So we've got Vaporeon. It's got the Vitality Cheer. Your Pokemon GX in play that evolves from Eevee get 60 extra health points. You can't have more than 1 Vitality Cheer at a time. But you notice that we have a Speed Cheer. This attack of your the attacks of your Pokemon. Watch me stumble. Yeah. The attacks of your Pokemon GX in play that evolve from Eevee cost 1 star energy less. You can't apply more than 1 Speed Cheer ability at a time. Notice that neither of these are the same type of cheer, so it's kind of handy. And that's the one I was looking for. We've got Flareon. It's Power Cheer. So the attacks of your Pokemon GX in play that evolve from Eevee do 30 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon before applying weakness and resistance. You can't apply more than 1 Power Cheer at a time. So pretty awesome that we can play Vitality Cheer, Speed Cheer, and Power Cheer all at once, which is pretty great. So those get taken advantage of quite often. So this Eevee has the Follow My Tail. Search your deck for any number of Eevee and Eevee GX and put them onto your bench, then shuffle your deck. So that goes pretty handy because we got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So 5 Eevees in there to make this deck evolutionary. And we've got our Sylveon GX. Let's search for 3 cards and do 110 damage. So having the 2 attacks is handy, but this one actually is just basically free drawing, which is awesome. And then we have Espeon GX. You can confuse and do 30 damage, or this attack does 60 plus it does 30 more damage times the number of energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. So if your opponent happens to pull out somebody that requires a high amount of energy, you can use that to your advantage. This one's got a great GX attack too. It's got Divide GX. Put 10 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon in any way you like. So you can basically pick off people from the bench and stuff like that if you want to, and help to win the game a little quicker. You got Umbreon GX. You can do 30 damage and then switch with any of your benched Pokemon, which is pretty handy since we've got quite a few that we'd like to switch with. And then we've got Shadow Bullet that does 90 damage to the active Pokemon and 30 to a benched Pokemon, which is also pretty awesome. We've got Glaceon EX. It's got Second Bite. It does 20 damage initially, and then this attack does 10 more damage for each damage counter on your opponent's active Pokemon. So, if they aren't already damaged before you get them out, you automatically do 20, and then the next time around it's going to do 10 damage more for the 2 damage counters that are already on that Pokemon, which makes it pretty effective. And then you've got Crystal Ray. It does 70 damage and prevents all damage from attacks from evolution Pokemon from your opponent on their next turn. So that can be pretty handy if they happen to have something similar to what I've got going on here, where it heavily depends on a lot of evolutions, so it can be pretty effective. Now this one just got added to the deck, so I don't know how this one quite works yet, but it is an Umbreon and Darkrai GX Tag Team card. It's got Black Lance. This attack does 60 damage to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon GX or benched Pokemon EX. Don't apply weakness and resistance for benched Pokemon. You never do. And then, still does 150 to the active Pokemon, which is awesome. And then, you've got your Dark Moon GX. Your opponent can't play any trainer cards from their hand during their next turn. If this Pokemon has at least 5 extra Dark Energy attached to it, in addition to this attack cost, your opponent's active Pokemon is knocked out. Which is kind of awesome because if you notice, it just takes 1. So say you use 1 Dark Energy, you have to add 5 more. Or you could use basically any kind of energy to fill in for that colorless and automatically get there that way. So it's pretty awesome. And pretty low cost GX attack too. We've got Wobbuffet. Again, he's in here mostly for this factor here. This attack does 10 more damage for each damage counter on the opponent's active Pokemon. It can really help to improve it. And then at the same time, it can remove everybody's abilities. So you don't want to try to use that if you're already using abilities that are helping your strategy. But it can be effective if you haven't gotten any of your strategy or your ability Pokemon out yet and your opponent's using their abilities against you. That's a good way to stop it. We're going to set him separate. We've got our Marini. This one's in here for this attack. Put a Pokemon from your discard pile into your hand. Nothing sucks more than getting one of your basic Pokemon out that you need for an evolution and then having your opponent have something like what Mr. Sagriff has. You might have already noticed just a couple of decks and builds that go a lot with attacking the benched Pokemon. If you start wiping out my benched Eevees, that's going to be really devastating because most of my Pokemon evolve from them. So, being able to pull a Pokemon. It doesn't say basic, it doesn't say no EX or GX or anything like that, so it just says pull out a Pokemon. So I can use that very effectively to save my evolutions in turn. Then we've got Shelder and Cloyster. So Shelder obviously evolves into Cloyster, and so that's all he's there for. Cloyster has this neat little attack, Headlock. Flip a coin. If heads, this attack does 30 more damage. If tails, your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. I love this one because of the fact that no matter which side of that coin it ends up on, you're getting extra damage, or they're not going to attack you the next turn. And that is super effective for me, super annoying to Mr. Sagriff. So, pretty awesome. And then Guard Press. During your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes 20 less damage from attacks. And it does 80 damage to the opponent, so that's very effective. But this one really is my favorite. The Headlock is my favorite move for him. Then we got Spritzy, which is here long enough to evolve into Aeromotis. I got Aeromotis in here for this and this only. Miraculous Cologne does 30 damage, and then you flip a coin. If heads, choose a special condition. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now affected by that special condition. I love this one. This one is the best because I can almost guarantee if I'm getting it and I'm getting the heads, I'm going to be picking Paralyze. Why? Because it's going to stop everybody in their tracks. The only time I haven't used Paralyze is when it's something like, hey, that opponent's Pokemon only has 10 health left. All I have to do is poison them. I take my last prize card, I'm winning. If I'm lucky, maybe it's something like one of these GX. Not sure if you can see that there in the bottom. But you take 3 prize cards when you knock out a tag team. So, take out 2 tag teams, which is why I don't have 2 tag teams in this deck. But you take out 2 tag teams and you're winning the entire game. So, being able to control what special effect is affecting your opponent, really, really helpful. Again, Mr. Sagriff does not like this card. He loves it and hates it. Loves it because he wishes he had one, which I love. And now, since I showed you guys that one, it's the perfect time to show you the first trading card that we use. This one is especially favorable for Aromatisse because of the attack being coin dependent. It means that the trick coin allows me to flip again any of those. So, because it's only once, not overly effective, but at the same time, it allows me to flip again. So, doubling my chances of being able to maybe paralyze my opponent or poison my opponent or burn them or whatever I want to do for special conditions. So, that's one of my favorites. But it holds nothing against this one. This one is my absolute favorite. So this is the Bent Spoon Trainer card. Now it is a tool card. It prevents all effects of your opponent's attacks except damage done to the Pokemon this card is attached to. Existing effects are not removed. So you get somebody out on the bench. You get the Bent Spoon on them. They're not poisoned. They're not burnt. They're not asleep. They're not confused. They're not anything but just standard damage, which is amazing. Because you get this up against something like one of the toxic decks that you see on in the playlist here, and it stops it dead in its tracks. They cannot do anything. Half the Pokemon that Mr. Sagriff had in that deck were all dependent, all of their attacks were poison, or confusion, or burning, or some sort of special condition. This stops them all. So when it only does 10 damage, but it's supposed to do 4 damage counters in poison, that's pretty effective, I'd say. So, we'll run through these pretty quickly, but I'll stop and point out the ones that I find are extremely helpful for making pretty much any strategy work, but especially with this one. So, Bent Spoon. Excuse me. Then we got Fighting Fury Belt. Adds an extra 40 health points, and adds an extra 10 damage to the attacks. Pretty awesome. So there's 2 U-turn boards in here. The retreat cost of this Pokemon is 1 star of energy less. And instead of discarding this, it gets put back into your hand. So there's 2 of those. Tool Retriever card, because who doesn't want to retrieve their tools when they're done? Always pick up your tools when you're done, guys. Pokenav lets you look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You can take a Pokemon or an energy card that you find there and put the other 2 back in any order that you want. We've got a Revive, a Switch, Scoop Up Cyclone, 1 Pokemon and all cards attached to it, put back into your hand. So, here's the situation. Here's the instance that you got. So, this one's got 260 damage counters on him, and he's, in between turns, the poison's going to kill him. So, we don't want that to happen. So, we take the chance, we end up scooping him up out of there. Especially if, say, he's got, a tool card attached to him, and he's got a whole bunch of energy, like maybe full energy, all of that sort of stuff. You don't want to lose all of those to your discard pile. So, you use your scoop up, you save this Pokemon, and then, if you've got another, something, like this one is the perfect one because it's a basic. You don't have to have your evolution. So, it makes it really easy. So, those 2 go pretty well hand in hand. We've got 2 Cynthia and Caitlin tag team cards. Put a supporter card from your discard pile into your hand. You can't choose Cynthia and Caitlin or card you discarded with the effects of this card. When you play this card, you may discard another card from your hand. If you do, draw 3 cards. So, pretty handy. remove all effects from each player and his or her Pokemon. So Pokemon Ranger. Tantaliza lets you shuffle your hand or switch your active Pokemon. I usually switch my active Pokemon. We got How, Pokemon Fan Club. Wally lets you look for a Pokemon that evolves from one of your Pokemon, excluding EX. Mr. Sagriff and I always add in GX, and now we'll be adding in those new V cards once they get added into the rotation of gameplay. And so despite the fact that it doesn't say GX, we don't like to just kind of, bend the rules on that, so to speak. So we usually add, excluding the Pokemon EX, GX, basically anything too good. And it lets you evolve your Pokemon right as soon as they're played, or as soon as you get, go looking for the evolution and all that. So handy when it's a deck based around evolutions in the first place. Fisherman, put 4 basic energy cards from your discard pile into your hand. Always good when you have lots of Pokemon that are going to need it. Lieutenant Surge, you can use this and 3, during your turn, you can play 3 supporter cards, including this card. So I can play this one and 2 other supporter cards as I want, which is pretty awesome. Ace Trainer. You play this card only if you have more prize cards left than your opponent. Each player shuffles his or her hand into his or her deck. Then draw 6 cards. Your opponent draws 3 cards. That's pretty effective against stopping them from being able to make it very far if they don't have very many cards in their hand. And Bridget. Search your deck for a basic Pokemon EX or 3 basic Pokemon, except for Pokemon EX, and put them onto your bench. Shuffle your deck afterwards. So, those are what we have in our Eeveelution deck. Hopefully you guys thought it was a pretty good deck. Have some ideas of maybe Pokemon that you have that you could use to kind of replace these ones here. These are my filler cards, so these ones are the ones that basically go with anything. They can kind of go into any other kind of a deck, or you can just replace them with whatever you see fit for your own sort of deck. But if you guys try out this sort of strategy, if you use it on the online game maybe, or if you even use it on the regular offline, then comment down below. Let me know what you thought of it, if you've tried it out and how you felt about it, what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it, anything that you might change, anything you did change. Let me know. Also, if you guys want to comment down below, let me know what your favorite evolution is. So, we've got quite a few to choose from in this one here. We don't have Leafeon yet. That's the only one still missing. And a Glaceon that evolves from Eevee. Because having an EX that just basic is pretty nice, but at the same time, I would gladly have one that evolves from Eevee. But, we got Glaceon, Umbreon, Espeon, Sylveon, Flareon, Jolteon, and Vaporeon. And then there's Leafeon, of course. So, comment down below, let us know which one of the Eeveelutions is your favorite. Would love to know, because I honestly don't think I can choose. Honestly, maybe I can. I think Sylveon and Vaporeon are kind of tied for me. Yeah, those are kind of my absolute favorites. They're really cute and I just love it. But yeah, so comment down below. Let me know. If you liked the video, hit that like button. If you didn't like the video, if you don't like these deck build videos, dislike it and comment down below. Let us know what it is you don't like about them or whatever. And anytime that you guys, have anything that you just want to talk about, anything that you need to get off of your chest, any ideas that you have, feel free to comment down below. Don't ever feel like there's nobody to talk to or anything like that, because we are always here for each and every one of you, no matter what it is. So, while we've got that going on, we'll toss out something else we always have here for you guys. We got a Sun and Moon Crimson Invasion code card for you. If you've managed to find all these, comment down below if you claim these, and let us know what you pulled, because it's always fascinating to see what people get on the online game. I like seeing what people get out of regular packs. I also like seeing what people get out of the online packs. So, always feel free to comment and let us know what you guys got. Follow us on Instagram, take pictures, show us, tag us in them, whatever you guys want. So, Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that little notification bell. Make sure you're always catching up, especially if you like these code cards. You want to catch them as quickly as possible. Always try to, take only one if there's multiples in a video. That way everybody gets a chance to be able to collect them because it's fair for everybody. Again, you get to come back. If you get to come through one of these videos, for example, if nobody else has already claimed those code cards, you might get lucky. So don't forget to always try. You never know if it's already been claimed or not. But at the same time, if you comment down below, if you've claimed one, it lets everybody else know that, okay, that far in, that card's claimed, or whichever. So, don't forget to claim that card. Let us know down below. Don't forget to stay awesome, keep positive, and remember to always be kind to each other. And we'll catch you in the next video. See you later.